Listeners, beware! You're in for a scare. Howdy, folks. Welcome to Nightmare on Fear Street, an R.L. Stine podcast, and I'm your spooky host, Zach.
And I'm your other spooky host, Meg. You cut into my introduction with that woo, Zach.
Oh, no. I was, you see, in my head, I was actually getting a vision, a waking dream, as you will.
Would you say that involves some mind reading?
Well, yeah. You see, there was 1 minute I was talking to you, and then the next I was in a forest, and I was just like, where am I? Not again.
What year is it?
I asked him, it's 1985. 1985?
I could still stop. I'm trying to think of, what's something, stupid that you could stop. My brain just doesn't know what year anything
Oh, I know
happened.
exactly what I would stop. I'd stop George Lucas from making the special editions of Star Wars. I still got time.
Yes, you still have time. You just burst through George Lucas's front door, and you're wearing goggles on your head and a puffer vest, like Marty McFly style, and you just burst in and you're like, George, you can't do it. Don't make the special editions.
It's like, wait, I can make special editions? That's a good idea.
No!
By going back in the past, I caused the future, and I start disappearing.
You created a stable time loop. It's like I saw that, there was a text post on Tumblr that I saw a million years ago that was like, what if you went back in time to stop Adam Sandler from making movies, but then you go back to the future and Adam Sandler movies were the only thing stopping the world from being destroyed, so then you had to go back in time and then you had to be Adam Sandler and make all his movies.
So Meg, how was your spooky week?
I got a puppy!
A puppy!
Yes!
How's the little fluffer woofle?
Oh, she's doing good. Her name is Buffy.
Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't pick that name. It was just sort of a happy accident that the family that had her before us called her Buffy. Yeah, we were gonna name her Clementine, but then they were then the breeder texted us oh, my kids have been calling her Buffy, and so she answers to Buffy now. And my mom was still oh, we should still call the dog Clementine, but I was like, no, Buffy is a dog name. Clementine is not a dog name.
And if you need to defend against the paranormal and vampires, you're good to go.
I mean, I let her up on my lap, and I put on some BuzzFeed Unsolved. I'm trying to, train her in the ways of demon hunting.
You know what the funny thing is? Today I went to a Super Bowl party, and their dog was named Phoebe, and they have, Friends, just everything.
Can't see why anybody would be that into Friends. Unpopular opinion, I don't think Friends is that funny.
I don't think it's funny at all. Now, if you name your dog Michael Scott, maybe.
Michael Scott is not a dog's name.
Oh, of course it's not. It's Michael Scott's name.
Yeah, but it's there are names that work for people and dogs, and then there are names that, dogs shouldn't have.
Brian.
Yeah, why would you name your dog Brian? That is not a dog's name.
Isn't that right? And your friend's name is Fluffy? That's a stupid name, Brian.
Alternate universe where people have names like Peanut and Fido, and all of the dogs are named John. Imagine a world, I can't do a Rod Serling voice, but imagine a world where dogs have peoples.
Imagine a world where humans have dog names and dog names are people names.
It's possible in the Twilight Zone.
It's possible in the right zone.
Amazing.
Oh, that's adorable that you got a puppy.
Yeah, she's very good, and I've already posted a lot of pictures of her on Twitter, so check that out. Anyway, speaking of dogs that have people's names, I just want to point out, before we even get into the episode, the dog in this book is named Chaz.
Oh, yeah. I was laughing at that.
Okay, alright, I just had to get that out of the way, because that made me angry. So, Zach, how was your week?
Yeah, no, I had a super spooky week. I went to Harry Potter World, or the Wizarding World, and I still have a concussion because I kept, bumping into platform 9 3/4. And it was the best. I went on all the rides. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is the main ride in Universal Hollywood. is one of the best rides I've ever been on in my life.
I've been to the Florida Harry Potter World.
Is it fun?
Yeah, but it was so crowded that we couldn't get on any of the rides.
Hashtag Star Wars Land. I mean, what?
It was just fun to, like, walk around, though. Like, magical.
It's me being an armchair Imagineer, the second I walked into it and you could just feel the pavement change differently, I'm like, yeah, they did good. It absolutely is one of the most best themed things. That's why I'm so excited for Star Wars Land and seeing how, we compete with it.
And you know what the greatest injustice of our time is?
What?
Honestly, in my opinion, Universal does not own the rights to Harry Potter.
That is true.
Like the films. That is Warner Brothers. Australia, in Queensland, in Australia, we have a Warner Brothers theme park called Warner Brothers Movie World. Why does Universal Studios get Harry Potter Land and we don't?
That's an easy question I can answer.
Answer that question, Malcolm Turnbull, Prime Minister of Australia.
Well, Meg, there's a lot of different types of rights, and J.K. Rowling optioned Universal to have the rights to the theme parks exclusively. Originally,
Hey, J.K. Rowling, can I ask you a question? Because I know you listen to this podcast. Can I ask you, why do you hate Australia? Why can we not have nice things?
And she's like, well, you see, I like writing mystery novels now, but no one lets me write mystery novels anymore, so I write Harry Potter fanfics.
That didn't answer my question, JK.
Other than that, we read a super spooky book. Meg, I'm getting a premonition.
Oh, no.
Meg, I see a cover. Do you see a cover?
Yeah, and I predict myself saying, let's talk about this cover.
Oh my god, I was about to say the same thing too, Meg. Oh my god, do we have like psychic powers?
Perhaps you are a mind reader.
I feel like this is like where like you have like dramatic turns to the camera and it goes dun dun dun.
Oh, that's the title of the book.
Oh my god. So let's talk about this cover, Meg. I actually kind of think this cover's a little spooky.
It reminds me of the poster for Fright Night.
Yes, yeah, I can see how it reminds you of Fright Night.
Like that blue swirly stuff in the background reminds me so much of the poster for Fright Night.
Yeah, no, it actually kind of reminds me of, there's a book called My Best Friend's Exorcism, and it has a very similar cover to this.
'Cause it's my best friend's exorcism. It's my best friend's exorcism.
And the best way to describe this cover is there's a girl on the bottom, and she's like wearing like a white sweater, and she's like in the fetal position.
And she's scared.
She's spooked because I guess like it looks like she like farted, and she has like a ghost fart.
There's a ghost coming towards her, and there's all this blue smoke coming out behind her, and she's like, oh no, a ghost.
Oh no.
And then...
good thing it's not a purple haze.
Blows a kiss for Jimi Hendrix. I gotta blow a kiss for every dead person that we mention on this podcast, except Charles Manson. No one cares about Charles Manson.
I like this cover just because it reminds me of like an old 80s VHS cover. Like you would...
They're all the Fear Street ones are very like VHS, like straight to video horror movie.
Well, no, this one actually looks like it advertises a cool cover, and then the book turns out to be really terrible. Like there's just like someone that's like superimposed as a ghost. It's kind of like, well, then again, I was about to say Chopping Mall, but Chopping Mall is actually a good movie. So there's like a movie that has like Mystics in Bali. There we go. It's a crazy movie that has a crazy cover where like it's like an Indonesian horror movie where this girl learns magic and her head pops off and all of her organs can come with her. What a movie.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's like a thing.
That is a thing.
That's a trope over there. That's a go-to movie monster, is the woman whose head comes off and all her organs come off, and then she flies around and she drinks blood and eats babies. And she's got different names, and I know somebody who swears that she's seen one of them. So they're a big deal.
I'd be like, nope. But Meg, seeing too much is murder. A bony hand beckons from a shallow grave. ... But only Ellie Anderson can see the skeletal hand. Ellie has visions of past secrets and future horror. Her visions have led her to the body of a girl who was killed 2 years before. Now her powers may help her find the murderer, unless he finds her first. ... Dun 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 dun.
Isn't there a movie with this exact plot?
Yeah, it's not the Lovely Bones.
No, the Lovely Bones is like she's a ghost or something, and she has to like send.
And she's trying to solve her own murder.
Yeah, she's trying to solve her own murder.
Wait, Meg, all I do is like, because I like trash true crime shows, I love like psychic detectives and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So this is what this reminded me of, except for some reason I was thinking of the South Park episode where Cartman's like a psychic detective, and he's like completely lying but ends up solving the murder mystery. So this book opens up like any 90s thing in a coffee shop. Insert Friends theme here.
I mean, so no one told you life was gonna be this way. Duh, 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 duh. So there's something Never watched that show that much because I didn't like it, so I don't know the song.
It doesn't matter. Or it could be like the CW where every show just starts in a coffee shop. So we meet our main character, Ellie Anderson, and her friend Sarah. Now, Sarah works at a rad coffee shop, while Ellie's just, her friend, and they like to hang out and talk about boys. Because, that's what they do.
Look at the boys that come in.
Oh, yeah, they're like, what's happening, hot stuff? There's a fish in the percolator.
And then a guy comes in, and he's like the finest young lad that any of them have ever seen, because he looks like he's in college. And guess what he's wearing? Guess what he's wearing that makes him so cool?
Let me guess. Is he wearing bell-bottom jeans?
No, I got 2 words for you, Zach.
What is that, Meg?
Double denim. Watch out. He's cool. And it's not even like a denim jacket with denim pants. It's denim pants and a denim shirt.
And like a sports jacket?
And a sports jacket.
Whoa, Meg, watch out. It's almost hurricane season.
Oh, I don't know what that means. Is that a sports thing?
No, Meg. No, it's not.
Is it a sex thing?
It could be. But, this guy is just like a tall glass of water. And she's like, Sarah's like, I'm going to get his name for Ellie because Ellie thinks he's like hotter than heck.
Yeah, and then there are these other guys that think they're so cool that they get called the Yuppie Brothers.
The Yuppie Brothers. Is it because they believe in like new wave ideology?
Yeah, they buy stuff from Goop. They drink that raw water. They're always talking about how they want to go do ayahuasca.
There's this new invention called vaping.
And they have a tech startup that they form together that's like, you can read your dog's star sign or something bougie like that. The Yuppie Brothers, whose real names are Joel and Frank.
What a bunch of nerds.
They're the 2 most popular seniors at Shadyside High School. They got 2 girlfriends called Anna and Patty.
Oh, and aren't they like total like ditzes?
Yeah, and as usual, the Yuppie Brothers are there with their brain-dead girlfriends. I gotta say something. I've probably complained about this in every single Fear Street episode we've done, and if not, I'm surprised at myself, but the problem that I have with these books is that all of the characters are so catty.
Yeah, no, the problem with them is, I don't know, it's not like, that's not how teenagers talk, though. That's the problem.
It's how, like, middle-aged adults assume teenage girls talk, just like complaining about each other all the time and talking about boys. Goosebumps books, part of the reason I like them better is because the female protagonists are like actual people. They're like children, and there's not like, oh, we gotta make this relatable to the teens, let's make all of the female characters so bitchy.
Meg, R.L. Stine probably saw The Breakfast Club once. It's like, yeah, I got the gist of kids.
Yeah, but this is a teen girl.
They all look like Molly Ringwald in his eyes.
Yeah, they're all always complaining about each other, and it's just, like, I don't know, I don't like it. It does, but it's not like the whole encompassing experience of teenage girls.
Well, I mean, if we look at other book series like Christopher Pike and much more girlier, like young adult books, this is actually quite tame.
Yeah, that is like 100% of my problem with young adult fiction. Badly written teenage girls who are just catty all the time instead of having actual personalities. Sarah and Ellie, they're scoping out these guys, and then we find out that Ellie moved away from Shadyside, but she moved back with her dad because her mom's dead now.
No, she's been dead for a while. Remember, they lived with their grandparents.
That is true.
I mean, it's not like it's going to be a crucial plot point or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like... They throw around that, like, my mom's dead. They throw that around like candy in these books. Jeez.
Yeah, like, who else have we had that's... Oh, wait, I've already blocked her from my mind.
She
She who must not be named. I mean, Reva? Why did you say that name?
Don't speak it out loud. You look down and the book has like transmogrified into Silent Night, and then you just start weeping.
Oh, no. I can look in the mirror and I have like a name tag that just says Reva. No, it's happening again. Like, this is like, actually, Meg, if I go back in time, I'd prevent R.L. Stine from writing that book, but then I'd cause that book to be written.
It gets replaced with an even worse book, so then you have to go back in time and you have to write Silent Night.
I just start drinking heavily.
And then you are R.L. Stine. That's the twist.
Oh, man, it actually is an R.L. Stine twist.
It is, though. He would.
See, Meg, that makes so much sense then, because, like, the Blob that ate everyone, the main character is a horror author named Zack. It's really my autobiography.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. So, Ellie decides to go home and walk her dog. Has the coolest name ever. Chaz.
Chaz. That's not a dog name. I'm sorry.
I just, like, imagine everyone in the 90s named Chaz. Or, Justin, or insert any other edgy teen name.
Was Chaz a popular name in the 90s? Because to me, it feels like an 80s name. Chaz just sounds like the name of, like, an 80s businessman to me. Like, him and his partner Rob are, like, doing coke in the bathroom, and they've got, like, real tall hair and the big cell phones, and...
Well, let's just imagine their dog is, like, wears, like, a business suit.
Yeah, it's a dog in a business suit with a gigantic cell phone.
So Ellie takes Chaz on a little walkie-poo around, Shadyside Forest, right next to the cemetery. And as they're walking, good old Chaz starts to get a little, like, venturous, and he decides to pick up a good old bone and brings it right back to Ellie. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. No.
Zach.
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, is it a human bone?
It could be a deer, but it's much longer. It looks kind of like an arm bone. The arm bone's connected to the shoulder bone.
I don't know.
And all of a sudden, Ellie starts, like, screaming and freaking out because she had just found a bone. But, oh, no, Meg, she's getting a vision.
Oh, no.
What type of Disney Channel nonsense is this? That's so Ellie.
That's so Raven. It's the future I can see. Did you see that tweet that was like, I saw this really funny tweet like a million years ago that was like, that's so Raven. Raven's parents identifying her body. The joke is that Raven's not dead. She is very much alive and she's doing fine.
Same as how, like, Ellie decides to, like, walk over to the grave because she gets a vision that a bony hand is, like, doing, like, the come over here motion.
A spooky, scary skeleton sends shivers down her spine.
Oh my gosh. Dun, 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 dun. All of a sudden, she sees it. It's almost like Corpse Bride. Like, she sees the hand coming out of, like, the grave. And she's like, oh no, not again.
Oh no. And she runs out and...
She almost gets hit by a car.
She runs out into the street and almost gets hit by a car, yeah.
This would have been, like, over in, like, 10 seconds she gets hit by a car. Like, well, that's the book, guys. Dun, 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 dun.
There was this YouTube poop that I used to love called Revenge of the Mad Madman of Spider-Man 2. And there would just be, like, they do this recurring joke where they just, like, have Spider-Man falling. And then they'll add in the sound effect of, like, bones breaking. It'll just be like, the end.
No, but...
And that still gets me every time. It's just, like, any joke where it's, like, they pretend that somebody dies and then the movie's over. That's my favorite. I love that.
Gunshot fade to black. But no, luckily, the people swerved out of the way and found her. And she's like, oh my gosh, with her dog Curtis... could you take us to the police station? And they're like, what is this, some kind of joke or something? Why did you have to bring a dog in the car? Like, this is before cell phones, so could you please take me to the nearest phone or police station, please?
You're the police, and have a crime.
No, Meg, that happens later on. Remember, this is the couple that picks her up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, fine, get in the car with your dog.
I think I've skipped ahead a page.
And they take her to the police station, and the police do not believe her.
I love when she's like, I found a dead body. Frank goes, a body in the cemetery?
Yeah, it's breaking news. There's dead people, a lot of dead people in the cemetery. Get arrested.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah?
Zach. You know why they make the gates so high on cemeteries?
Why?
Because people are dying to get in, Zach.
Meg, you're the best.
Because people are dying to get in, Zach.
Meg, I already feel the jab on my ribs. Like, give like a voodoo doll of me that you're just jabbing right now.
Laugh. Good. Okay. Yeah.
I should do like SpongeBob. Ch ha ha. Ch ha ha.
Anyway,
so they take her to police.
Hello, Mr. Police. I gave you all the clue.
Hi, Mr. Police. I found a dead body. Is this some type of joke? You know, like what you teenagers play? You know, I got a call earlier that said, help me, I'm being stabbed. Please send help. And like, good goof.
Why is every, like, cop in, like, any horror thing involving teenagers, why are they just, like, the worst cops in the world that don't believe anybody?
Because, Meg, if you're in a boring town like Shadyside, man, no one wants to commit murder there. They go to, like, Shelbyville or something.
Yeah, do you know why it's a criminal offense to lie to a police officer and waste, like, make a fake 911 call or make a fake emergency services call? 'Cause they have to listen to all of them.
Because they could all be true, except
They could all be true. And they get paid to solve crimes. So if somebody says they're a crime, it is literally their job to go and see if there was a crime. So if somebody in the real world, if somebody came into a police station and was like, I found a dead body, and the guy's like, no, you didn't, that guy gets fired.
Good goof, guys. Good goof.
Yeah, these cops are always, like, the worst cops in the world. I would love to see a horror thing with, like, a cop that's actually useful.
Oh, like movies such as... With other movies such as... Starring... Yeah. So, the good old Officer Wilkins, yeah. You know, Sarah's dead.
I'm sorry, no, he's Lieutenant Wilkins.
Lieutenant... No, isn't it Detective? There's like, what?
No, I am looking at the page and it's Lieutenant.
Is it? I thought he was a detective.
Lieutenant. No, it's Lieutenant Wilkins.
But later on he's a detective. What?
Well, that's on R.L. Stine, not me.
Well, Officer Lieutenant Detective Lukens.
That's Mr. Professor Patrick.
He's like, I guess I can go with you. Come with me. So they go to the forest. And, you know, Chaz and them find the body super quickly. And then almost like it's comedic, like automatically a crowd just starts forming in the middle of the woods at the crime scene.
Well, you know why that is, because in all of the Fear Street books, there has been a scene where people are just hanging out in the woods. So obviously the woods is the hip happening place to be in Shadyside.
Oh, yeah. It's better than the discotheque and the roller rink. And the candy shop and the malt shop.
The malt shop and the milk bar and the old pharmacy.
And the burnt out mental asylum. And Camp Crystal Lake.
Michael Myers' house? I don't know.
So yeah, like this huge crowd starts forming and they're like, oh no, we should set up a perimeter. People might tamper with evidence. Oh no, people start...
Well, that's police. That's real police.
Yeah, because, you know, people are like, ooh, let's touch everything with our, you know, greasy hands. But they actually start doing stuff like actual police work and actually setting up a perimeter. And they start, you know, it's a mystery. Then Sarah comes and, oh no, they uncover the grave and she starts freaking out because the bones had like a red jumper on.
Oh no!
What does that mean, Meg? What does that possibly mean as Sarah leaves in tears?
'Cause it's that person that died.
Is it, Meg?
You alright?
Is it?
it's bones, so it's like they don't really have any way of knowing other than what she's wearing.
I'm a doctor, Jim, not a corpse.
That's very random.
You said bones. So I have to make at least one Star Trek reference per episode.
Okay, nerd.
Thank you. That's Mr. Nerd to you. Actually, it's Dr. Nerd. I have a PhD in being a nerd.
You have a PhD in being shoved in lockers?
Actually, that's my minor.
I majored in internet forum arguments and minored in getting shoved in lockers.
While she's there, she actually meets up with Brian, the hunky man from the beginning of the book.
The college boy.
Ooh, the college boy.
Barry Blue Jeans himself.
Barry Blue Jeans.
Barry Blue Jeans. Because he's wearing double denim. He's Barry Blue Jeans.
In my brain, he's like a young Willie Nelson. So cut to the next day, and Ellie is in the library.
So the body was supposedly Sarah's older sister.
Yeah, we don't know that until later.
But Sarah knows that her sister was wearing a red dress. And that's why she was so upset.
Oh my, it could be her. Oh no.
It could be. Or it could be literally anyone else, because you know how many teens get murdered in this town? It's so many.
More than one?
It's at least 10.
I mean, that is like an accurate number. So cut to next day, and the Ellie is going to the library, and she's looking at, primitive weapons and stuff. And guess who's there? Hunky McHunk book hunk librarian hunk Brian.
I almost said Streamy McCreamy, and I was trying to say Steamy McDreamy.
Can you say that again, please?
The correct one that I meant to say, or the one that my garbage mouth spit out by accident?
The one your garbage mouth spit out by accident.
Streamy McCreamy. New Patreon donor tier, you get a recording of me saying, "Oh shit, it's Streamy McCreamy" as your text message alert.
Oh god. Oh, it's like I'm crying.
I killed him.
Yep, well, Streamy McCreamy's there, and he's like, we have this newfangled computer system that we could use, but I like being an old-timey person and looking at the Dewey Decimal System.
I mean, back then it probably took like 3 hours to look anything up on the internet.
No, it was like all offline. It was all just categories.
But still, the computers were slow back then.
No, she finds it no problem.
Yep, but guess what falls out of the shelf when she takes the book out?
A knife?
Yes. And she screams, but jokes, it was only a vision.
Why does she have these visions, Meg?
Because somebody's trying to tell her something from beyond the grave?
But they never explain why she has the visions at all. She's just born with them.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. I'll see myself out. That was not funny.
So she starts freaking out, and all of a sudden, like, Brian's like, Streamy McCreamy is like, hey, would you like to go on a date? And she's like, fair enough.
How old is she?
She's 16, almost 17.
And this guy is in college.
Oh, no, Meg, he's in community college, so 100% totally a weirdo.
Totally, like, definitely not, he is creepy. He's very creepy. This is one of the many creepy things that he does.
Because, the other thing that happens is that Ellie decides to walk home, and as she's walking home, a black Jeep comes and follows her, and the guy puts down his window, and it's Streamy McCreamy.
Oh,
and
God.
Hey, babe, you want, like, a lift? And she's like, I don't talk to strangers. And like, well, hop in, I'll introduce myself so we don't be strangers anymore. That's what Pennywise said.
That's literally what Pennywise said. And also, I don't know if we have any, like, teenagers listening to this podcast, but here's, like, a pro tip for how to exist in the world. First of all, don't take rides with guys that you don't know. And second of all, if somebody who's, like, 5+ years older than you asks you out on a date, the first thing you gotta think is, what's wrong with this person that they can't get a date with someone their own age?
But I guess the best advice, though, is if he's like, hey, babe, hop in my car and I'll introduce myself so we're no longer strangers, just run. What does she do, Meg? She gets into the car.
Idiot. Surprisingly,
she doesn't get murdered. Shock of all shocks, this is science fiction.
Ugh. the most unrealistic part of any book ever. They go to get some burgers, and then he drops her off at Sarah's house. Sarah's not there because she's staying with her aunt for a bit.
Yeah. And they're getting, good old, sand burgers and...
Sand burgers?
Sand burgers, yes. Oh, wait, you've never read Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. That joke doesn't make any sense.
I don't think anyone's ever read Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. That sounds like something you just made up now.
That's an actual book series.
Sure, Zach. Maybe in Berenstain universe, that's a real book series.
But all of a sudden, detective officer, professor, doctor, student, teacher, Wilkins comes into the place, and she starts talking with Ellie.
I'm trying to, think of a word that we could use to describe him that is, all of the ranks of the police mixed into one. It's detective officer.
Chief.
Detective officer.
We'll just call him Officer Wilkins.
Mr. Wilkins.
Mr. Wilkins, that's his father's name. But yes. Like Daddy Derek.
No. End this. You have just mentioned the most cursed thing in the history of the world, and now Derek Savage is gonna come to your house and tell you when you die.
He's gonna beat my ass with a Van Halen guitar from the 1980s.
He's gonna roll up in the Cool Cat convertible and break your mailbox.
Boogie woogie.
I bet the kids will boogie to that.
But while they're talking, she's like, I'm just gonna get a ride home from Hunky McHunk. And she turns around and it was like the swivel chair thing. He's just gone.
Oh no! Oh no! Why did he disappear when the police showed up?
I don't know, Meg. I don't know.
Is that suspicious? But obviously, Ellie doesn't think it's suspicious because, nobody who wears double denim could ever be a murderer.
I thought you said anyone that wears Dumbledore. I'm like, well, I mean, Dumbledore acts the same way. A little bit.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Speaking of Harry Potter, I meant to ask you this when you were talking about going to Wizarding World, but do you know what your Hogwarts house is off the top of your head?
Oh, Ravenclaw.
I'm Slytherin.
Oh, okay. Good old Officer McElroy. Oh my God.
Officer McElroy!
Officer Wilkins. I'm just thinking of Griffin McElroy.
Hi, it's me, Griffin McElroy. 30 under 30 media luminary and your sweet baby brother.
She's like, why are you saying this? It's like, he starts talking like Pam.
He's just they're talking at the police station. He's just He picks up an amiibo, puts it in his mouth.
Oh my God, yes. It's like, welcome to Monster Factory. And it's just like, oh no. So they start driving.
Welcome to R.L. Stine Factory.
They drive to Sarah's house, and Sarah's there because she doesn't have an aunt.
She lied? Zach, you didn't tell me that people could lie.
I didn't know that either. As I look at how to try to lie for stupid people, man, this book's a bunch of lies.
Do you know who else lied?
Who?
Ellie's dad.
Why?
Because Ellie's dad, he tells her he hates the police because, do you know what? Ellie's mom was actually murdered. She didn't die of a burst appendix, like Ellie had always been told.
Wait, what? Did she die of, appendicitis?
She died of being murdered.
Oh, well, yeah, that's kind of a terrible, disease. Or maybe stabbing. Stabbing's worse. Or maybe being on fire. No, wait, she got stabbed.
And with your donation, we can finally find a cure for being murdered.
Yeah, it just cost $1 Herbert West dollars.
Herbert West dollars.
Are you okay, Meg?
Herbert West dollars. Yeah, and so Ellie is so shocked that she immediately goes upstairs and gets in the shower and starts crying and vomiting.
And then, it's almost like the Psycho scene where she feels another vision coming along in the shower where she gets stabbed by a knife repeatedly. But it's okay. It was just hot water.
It was just a vision. How much would that suck if you died being stabbed in the shower while vomiting and crying? So I like that. He kind of does the Psycho thing, but instead of there actually being a person holding the knife, it's just the knife by itself, alive.
That is a horror movie all on its own.
The knife that's alive! And it's just like a knife flying, and it's like, I'm just imagining it like really badly done as like on a piece of fishing line, and then you can like see the guy holding the fishing line up.
Yeah, and you see like a boom mic, and guess what, Meg?
Yeah, like Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yeah, guess what, Meg? Guess what the knife has as well? It's got like googly eyes because it's alive.
And do the googly eyes have little angry eyebrows?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Because that's the only direction you could take that in, honestly. If you didn't make that choice, you would be, like, wrong.
We would just call it Stabby.
Stabby! Kids, I'm Stabby! The flying knife! Here to teach you all about stabbing!
And knife safety.
Knife protection.
Oh, so Ellie gets out of the shower and she's freaking out. And she goes downstairs and, oh no, Meg, Brian's there.
Brian?
He's like, this is kind of awkward, but I'd like to ask you out on a date. Like, how did you even get into my house? I'm like, oh yeah, the door was unlocked. Wait, what? Get out of there, Ellie. Get out of there now. Hurry up.
Brian.
You know, you could just be like a third wheel and tell him, nah, I'm good.
So, the next time she goes to the library, she finds the microfiche, and she, like, goes back through the newspaper archives and finds out that she was actually there when her mother was killed and stabbed.
And she starts to have a vision remembering the whole thing.
And she was a baby.
Yeah, she was a little babby. And it turned out that it was actually their neighbor that killed Ellie's mom. Quite horrifically.
Stabbed.
Yep, by Stabby. So then she goes with Brian on the date, and guess where they go, Meg? Did they go to a public area like a mall or an amusement park that, you know, somehow still not closed down?
No.
Where did they go, Meg?
Do they go to the woods?
No, Meg. They go to, you know, Fear Island.
Fear Island! I hate it!
What a name. What a name. So they get a rowboat and they go to Fear Island, which this time of the year, it's completely deserted. You know, these like warning signs are like now like exploding because, you know, they've been going on for so long.
Yeah.
And while they're there, they have like a super romantic, you know, night. They
with fried chicken, and they get in the canoe and they have a smooch. And then it's all fun and games until he takes out the knife to cut the apple. And she has another vision!
Is it because the apple's bad?
No, it's because the knife is a knife.
The knife is the knife that cuts?
Yes.
Yeah, she gets a vision that this was the knife that murdered somebody. Not just anyone. Sarah's sister.
Oh,
Melinda.
No, Melinda!
I kept reading that as Belinda, and I just feel terrible. A terrible human being.
Why? Because is this a reference to my Belinda from My Dad Wrote a Porno?
Yep, that's what I kept thinking. I was like, oh no.
Fear Street and My Dad Wrote a Porno crossover. Melinda blinked.
No, Melinda winked.
Plot twist.
Oh my god.
Anyway, she feels something pulling on her ankle.
Is it Jason Voorhees? Was Fear Island actually Camp Crystal Lake?
No, it's just another skeleton hand, I guess.
Yeah, she gets pulled down into the water, and she doesn't know how to swim, or I guess like the spooky skeleton hands are forcing her not to be able to swim.
And
but
she
finally
back and
breaks
Brian
out.
is there. Brian is not there.
No, he's not. So she has to like swim back to the regular mainland.
Yeah.
Luckily, you know, she had eaten like an hour prior to that, or the lachrymose leeches would have probably gotten her. Brian had a banana, but, you know, he doesn't get a chance to die. I'm blowing a kiss up to heaven to Aunt Josephine.
Yes.
Meg, in the vision of the knife, she knows where it is. She knows it's in a tree near where Melinda's body was.
Wow, Melinda's body was found in the woods. So that really narrows it down.
So she decides to go back to the police station. Good old Detective Wilkins is there, and he is like, and I haven't slept in like 16 hours, but I guess a lead's a lead.
Detective Wilkins.
So they go in their car, and they find the rusty knife in some trees, because, you know, good old Ellie knows exactly where it is. Not making her a suspect in any other way.
Who kills somebody and then just, like, puts the knife up in a tree?
Well, you don't want to have the knife on you in case you get found.
Yeah, but the wind blows and the knife falls out the tree and then someone can just pick it up.
No, Meg, it's not like that. It was like in like a hole in the tree. So you'd actually have to actively be looking for the inside the hole of the tree. The tree hole, you know.
But still, it seems like a dumb place to put the knife. Why not just
throw it in the lake?
No one will ever find anything that you throw in a lake. True story.
She's like, I have to tell you something. I know. Actually, wait, before that, Meg. Mm-hmm. She finds a picture of Brian because Melinda had a boyfriend before. They were planning on running away.
And he was named Brett Hawkins.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's almost like Brian Hawkins. Yeah.
No, his name is Brian Tanner, isn't it?
Oh, you're right, because I kept calling him Biff Tanner in this book.
Biffed. Yeah, accurate.
Butthead. Yeah, so she finds a picture of him, and she starts freaking out because Brett is actually Brian. So she tells Officer Wilkins about it, and he's like, well, we better go book this, man. So I don't know why she has another vision again, and she knows that Brian's at Sarah's house.
Dun, dun, dun.
So they book it to his house, and Officer Wilkins already has his gun drawn. They go into the house, and they cannot find Sarah anywhere. Oh no. Oh no, Meg. But remember, they find Sarah. She's
been in Melinda's room sulking, but then
so they find her in Melinda's room, but Brian's in the house, and Officer Wilkins is like, don't move, punk, or I'll blow your brains out. You know.
Yeah.
There's no due process here.
The reason that Sarah has been upset is that Sarah was trying to help Melinda run away with her boyfriend, and so she blames herself.
Yeah, because she killed him. She killed her sister. But that's not true.
That's not true, no.
Good old Officer Wilkins takes in Brett Bryan, Smoothie McCream Cream.
Smoothie McCream Cream? That's even better than the one that I said, whatever it was. I've already forgotten what it was.
So, yeah, but as he takes him to the police station, they get a phone call. Brian has somehow escaped. He's used his Middle American Kung Fu.
He used his blue collar to strangle his way out. His literal blue collar because he's wearing a denim shirt.
He didn't put the handcuffs on tight enough. The denim was getting in the way.
His cuffs, expand and push the handcuffs off. They're like some kind of advanced spy technology.
Oh my god, Meg, it's like that movie with Jackie Chan where he has this
the
super
tuxedo?
cybernetic... Yeah, the
yes!
tuxedo.
It's the tuxedo, but it's the denim.
It makes so much sense now.
So then there's a big shootout in the woods.
No, there isn't, because Sarah gets one more vision. She sees gold, because, Officer Wilkins is like, you gotta tell me where he is.
Shining gold, blurry light.
So when she gets the vision, good old Sarah starts packing heat, because she's gonna come along with her.
Yes.
And it was, scary, because it's this is, way back in the day when it's like, oh, I'll just borrow my dad's gun, not a problem.
The 90s were a wild time.
Look at me, I'm Dirty Harold. Knowing Sarah, she didn't even load the gun.
Yeah, you, Dirty Harry, me, an intellectual, grubby Harold.
So they run into the woods, and as they're there, they start getting more of a vision of a button.
Gold button. Then the cops show up, and they're gonna shoot Brett, because Brett's there. But then Sarah shoots Lieutenant Wilkins.
Why did she shoot her dad, Meg?
Because it was his button.
I like how he gets shot and he's just like, oh man, I got shot. This is such an inconvenience.
Oh, I am slain.
And he's just bleeding, and he's has his gun up to Brian, and he's like, yes, it was me. I killed my daughter. But why? We got into a nasty fight, and I had accidentally pushed her, and she hit her head, and she died.
That solves that mystery. Good job, guys.
So I buried her, and then I tried to frame Brian/Brett, Smoothie McSmooth over here, for the murder.
What a good cop and a good father.
He's planning evidence. He's doing all the right moves, except, the problem of he forgot he lost a button that night.
Oh, no, and he forgot that there's Ellie randomly has psychic powers.
How would he have known, like, all these things? Like, he went to, like, the one, like, fortune teller person that charges $9.95 per reading. And yeah, he's like, just don't lose a button. But he does. So he tries to frame Brett for the murder, but it doesn't work. So Sarah shoots him.
Shoots her own dad, which is pretty hardcore.
But Meg, everything ends well because Brian is not framed for murder. And guess what, Meg? You know the reason why he came back to Shadyside?
Why did he come back to Shadyside?
He's got visions too.
Oh man, I thought he was gonna be a ghost.
That'd have been cool too. No, but Melinda's a ghost.
Because he would just like randomly disappear. So I thought he was gonna be a ghost.
Well, the reason why he randomly disappeared is because he saw Officer Wilkins coming and he knew what he looks like.
Yeah, but like when he's on the lake, and then like I thought that was him being a ghost.
But dreams do come true because he decided he's done running and he had this vision of Ellie that she was gonna help him because they're both psychic because I guess psychicness is like a genetic thing because Ellie's mom is also psychic. Wait. That just means
does that mean that Brett is her brother or something? Because that would be
that would be
weird.
Really creepy.
That would be horrible, and I hate it.
I feel like then the music starts playing like "Time of My Life."
Do you feel cheated by the fact that this book is called The Mind Reader, but nobody reads anybody else's mind?
Yeah, it's kind of a cheaty thing.
Maybe it should have been called The Vision Haver?
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest. Vision Board. I'll tell you what, I'm Vision Board from this book.
Well, yeah, because you know what? Brian McSmooth gives a big ol' smooch to Ellie, and they lived happily ever after. Sarah's dad has been convicted for like 30 years for involuntary manslaughter and tampering of evidence.
Oh, wait. Okay, but here we go. This is the whole reason that this book is called The Mind Reader. There's a line that says, I'm kind of like a mind reader. I have visions, dreams, only I'm wide awake. That is not what that is, Brett. Brian McSmoothie. That's not what a mind reader is.
Psychic. I don't know. Actually, I kind of like this book a little bit. Like when it was becoming.
I don't know. You know me. I just like don't like the Fear Street series.
Well, for me, playing devil's advocate, I actually think this is one of the more well-written of the Fear Street books. I used well-written very loosely.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun reading this book because there was a lot of like true crime stuff. There was the cool elements with like the Vision Quest and, I actually liked the twist.
Yeah, man. That's your opinion.
Because if you start reading like Fear Street, you kind of understand there's a formula, and it's usually the parent did it, or it's an older gentleman, or you'll know about them in the first 30, 40 pages.
I kind of don't like that, honestly. I mean, like, no, we've had a couple where like the killer's been another teenager, but I just don't like these books. The only one that I've liked has been Fear Park #1. That's the only one that I've liked out of the Fear Street series that I've read so far. All the rest of them I've just hated.
Well, was there anything positive about this book, Meg?
I don't know. Nobody started a car chase over ranch dip. That's a positive.
Well, it was almost close, Meg. It was close.
That was close.
But I suggest, if you like this book, if you like psychic detectives or like cheesy like murder mysteries, I recommend this book wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I think the reason I don't like the Fear Street series so much is because I am not into the like young adults, young adult, like all the teenage girls are super catty and there's all like relationship drama and all the guys are kind of weird and it's like no teenagers actually talk like this. I don't like that kind of thing. And also like I think the two of us, you are more into the true crime stuff and I am just kind of here for like werewolves and stuff along those lines. So
we'll get to that eventually, or we know the stuff like that does pick up. There are, I don't know, I think Fear Street is more grounded in reality than Goosebumps, though I prefer the Goosebumps books.
That's why I don't like it. That's what I'm trying to say. I just don't like things that are based in reality. I just
I don't
like
know. For me, it's hit or miss. But, again, this isn't really our target audience. But, good
no,
old
because we're not teenagers from the 90s.
R.L. Stine tries.
He
He
tries.
tries. Well, I mean, there's also Ghost of Fear Street. That's more kind of up our alley.
But that's kind of like just Goosebumps, but
Edgier.
like marginally edgier. I really liked How to Be a Vampire. So maybe we should go back to Ghost of Fear Street sometime. It's been a while since we've read one of those.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that next time we come around to Fear Street. We have to make that U-turn and go back onto the Goosebumps freeway.
Choo choo. I don't know why it's a train if we're on the freeway.
I gotta hit up to 88 miles an hour. I gotta prevent R.L. Stine from writing Silent Night now. Oh no, I hit R.L. Stine. Oh no, I have to start writing R.L. Stine books.
Oh no. Now you're R.L. Stine. It's like Santa Claus.
Oh no.
So, Zach, what are we reading?
So
Next
next week we're actually reading The Reading Buddy by Bryce Gibson.
Ooh. I have not heard of this one. Is this... What are we looking at here? Is this more like is this a Goosebumps knockoff, or is this more like something a bit meatier and more interesting, like the Diane Stanley one we did?
Reminiscent of Fear Street and the 1990s point horror classic, The Reading Buddy is a modern, southern set throwback thriller that is sure to deliver plenty of chills and surprises.
Not chills and thrills? Ugh. You missed the boat there, whoever wrote that.
Well, actually, the person that writes this book actually is a follower of our show.
Oh! Who's the writer of this book?
Bryce Gibson.
Oh, hi, Bryce Gibson.
And I found that out because I was, looking at this book.
Did he
and
ask you?
that...
Did he, suggest this to you, or...?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
If he did, I would love to get... Where's my check? Oh, here it is. No, I'm interested to see what he wrote because I had read snippets of it before, and some people have actually suggested me this book before.
When was this written?
So this book was actually published August 3rd, 2017, so
wow,
less than a year.
This is the most recent one we've done. This is going to be exciting.
I'm excited to read this. You can find it on Amazon under The Reading Buddy. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's totally 100% free for you. If you want to get a regular physical paperback, it's $10.99.
Okay, I'll have to go ahead and order that now. So, we can read it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited to read this. So, Meg, do you want to hear a spooky joke from jovial Bob Stine?
Give it to me. I don't know if it's going to beat my graveyard joke that I made earlier. That was pretty good.
What happens to a mummy when it falls into the Nile River, Meg?
What?
It gets wet.
Oh, jovial Bob!
So the listener question for this week from our Twitter poll, if you could have one paranormal power, example, reading people's thoughts, what would you want to have and why? Meg, what type of psychic power would you want to have?
Okay, so you gotta give me some guidelines. When you say, are we talking any kind of paranormal power, or does it have to be a psychic power, of the
Let's
mind?
make it easy, because this is technically the mind reader. Let's do psychic. You can have any psychic power with your mind.
Telekinesis.
What would you use your telekinesis for, just to be lazy?
To be lazy, and also, fake ghost videos.
Meg, we can make Knifey or Stabby.
And also make my hit film Stabby the Knife.
Stabby the Knife.
Stabby the Flying Knife Boy.
Stabbing into theaters 2019.
In 3D.
4D, Meg. You're going to come out and stab the audience.
What's yours?
Mine would actually, totally me, it would be fire starter abilities, so pyrokinesis.
What would you use that for?
Not because I want to set fire to stuff, Meg, but because I usually, when I start working, I have a cup of coffee or tea, I forget about it and it gets stone cold. So I could be bing.
Oh my god! You are a genius!
So I could just warm up my coffee right there and then.
That is the best, that is the best use for pyrokinesis.
You know what the best thing also, Meg? Say I'm cold in bed and I don't want to get an extra blanket. Bing! I'm warm.
These are the kind of ideas that we need for the future.
And then it's like, oh man, someone's like, oh man, I should like really like toke up right now. And I'd be like, I'm not using my powers for that because drugs aren't cool. Bing. So we actually got one person that answered the poll, and it was from Lillian. I've always wanted the power to heal, which makes sense since I'm a nurse and all. LOL.
Oh
Aww.
man, you would be so good at your job if you had a healing power.
You don't need that because I feel like being a nurse, you already have superpowers. You're healing people without superpowers.
Yeah, being a nurse, you're a superhero already. If you're a nurse.
Yes, I know, because you have to change like bedpans and stuff, and that is a superpower all on its own.
Yeah, and you have to take care of sick people and
grumpy sick people.
Yeah, you're the true MVPs of the world.
So thanks, Lillian, for that. So Meg, where can they find you?
You can find me online at Meg Tuten on Twitter. That's at MEGTUTEN. You can also find me on Redbubble and get your Nightmare on Fear Street merchandise at redbubble.com/people/MEGHANTUTEN. And I am also on Tumblr at sodasodabanana.tumblr.com. Where can they find you, Zach?
You can find me on Twitter at Suda41, that's SUDA41, or you can follow our Patreon, that's Patreon/Nightmare on Fear Street. If you want to donate to the show, we'd really appreciate it. It would help us, keep the lights on, and you'll have a bunch of spooky bonus content.
Yay.
Other than that, if you want to email the show, you can email us at nightmareonfearstreet@gmail.com, or if you want to follow us on Twitter, that's at NightFearStreet. Well, I think that's another episode wrapped up. But guess what, Meg?
Zach, I'm having a vision. I'm having a vision that the podcast is about to be over.
Guess what, Meg? I'm having another vision. You know what happened exactly 1 year ago as this episode's being released?
What?
The very first episode of Nightmare on Fear Street.
Oh my god, time is fake.
Yeah, Meg, it's our 1 year anniversary with this episode. I looked it up, and exactly to the day we're releasing this episode.
1 year ago to this day.
Oh my. We shouldn't have gone up to the Fear Street house. That's where all them teenagers died.
That's where that's where all them 20-year-olds made a podcast.
1 year to the day. You shouldn't go up there. You definitely shouldn't say Meg, Meg, Meg 3 times in the mirror.
You say it and think it. I'll appear behind you and shove you in a locker.
Okay.
And then I'll make you eat Vegemite.
No. Stabby's coming after me. Oh, God. Well, I'm Zach.
And I'm Meg.
And stay spooky. Wow, this 4D attraction's super radical.
Was that your stabbing sound effect?
Yes. Bye.